What came first, the chicken or the egg? Today we're gonna be opening up this antique Mexican gourd ornament to see if we can grow what's inside. So a little known fact about myself and Mrs. MIgardener is we're antique freaks. We absolutely love going to antique stores. It's kind of a fun pastime for us, just kind of treasure hunting, seeing what's out there. And about 2 weeks ago, we were at an antique store and we stumbled across this gem right here. Now this gem is really cool because this is actually an antique, it's from the 60s. It's an antique Mexican gourd ornament. Now, gourd ornaments are really popular for a lot of different cultures. Mexican cultures and Hispanic cultures have been making gourd ornaments like this for a really long time. And basically they take a winter gourd and they dry it out and then they essentially will paint it and decorate it. And this one just happened to be a cute little chicken. And as cute as it is, we are going to destroy this because I didn't buy it for the fact that it's an ornament. We actually have several already at our house. So this one, you know, was cute, but we bought it for what's inside. And so I don't know if you can hear this, but there's actually seeds inside. And so we're going to crack it open, see if the seeds inside are good. And then once we actually see what is inside, we're going to try to sprout them and see if we can actually grow a few. Now, the cool thing with these are that they're inside of the gourds themselves, and if stored properly, the outer shell actually creates a very sterile environment on the inside because all of the bacteria and fungi and stuff are on the outside, not on the inside. And so you have a really a very sterile environment. Now, there actually have been records of gourd seeds being found in clay pots. The variety is called, I'll see if we can pull up a picture, it's called the Geet Oxomen or Okosomen squash. It was actually 800-year-old squash seeds thought to be extinct. They found them in a clay pot, a sealed clay pot, and were able to germinate them. Very, very cool. So these are not quite 800 years old. These are more like 60 years old, but nevertheless, they're inside of a hard shell. And that shell has also been painted, which is kind of a benefit to us. It's actually created another protective layer for the seeds inside. So I'm super excited to see what's in here. And let me know before we get started, let me know in the comments box down below if you think they'll germinate or not. And also let me know, let's see how many seeds you think are gonna be inside. I know there are seeds, but post how many you think and if they're gonna be viable or not. Fun little contest, no prize, just a pat on the back. So let's go. All right, so we only got one shot at this, so I'm gonna just kind of try to crack it. Ooh, that actually was very satisfying. It's like cracking a coconut. Oh, sweet. Oh my gosh, you guys. This is crazy. Oh my gosh, look how clean these seeds are. Oh. All right, so the moment we cracked that open, I was met with a pungent odor. I mean, we're talking like, it was like a sealed air balloon of funk that just like, I mean, it hit me like a freight train. It took my breath away. And goodness, I don't know what that was all about. That was disgusting. But the weird thing though is that there's no mold. It's like, these seem like really nice seeds. So for 60 years old, let's move that a little further away. For 60 years old, impressive, like really, really impressive start to this. I'm gonna kind of clean up some of the nasty and just get the seeds. And then we're gonna count how many seeds we have. We're gonna do them, we're gonna try to germinate them using the damp paper towel method. And we'll see if we can't get some to germinate. So the scent's kind of dissipated a little bit, but if you go ahead and do this, I would strongly suggest maybe just putting like a dust mask on in hindsight, because all that debris, all the dead like plant material, like dusty stuff on the inside of the gourd, absolutely probably went airborne, probably not great to breathe that in hindsight. But the things I do for a like on a video. So make sure you hit the like on the video because, well, that was a mistake. But definitely safety first, always, you know, make sure to wear a dust mask. But the thing I was gonna mention too is that there are so many other types of gourds that are preserved in similar ways. I know in African cultures, there are they call them the water jug gourds or the water bottle gourds. Very, very cool. They also have drum gourds where they'll actually like use them as like instruments, right? They also have birdhouse gourds where they will drill a hole in them and then hang them from a tree and you can actually use them as birdhouses. They have Goodness. There's the snake gourds, the swan gourds. A lot of times swan gourds will be painted. But the other thing about gourds too is that not all gourds are edible, right? So I'm not gonna go ahead and eat this, right? I'm not gonna gamble with this even if the seeds do germinate, because some wild gourds can actually can cause a lot of nausea and upset stomach. They're not domesticated like a zucchini, right? So like, or even like an acorn squash. You have winter gourds that are edible, or like winter squash that are edible. And then there's gourds, which are not all edible, right? You're gonna be really careful with gourds because you don't wanna eat all of them. But I'm just counting these up here. And let me know in the comments box as well if you yourself have ever gotten any gourds that have been decorative. I know that my grandpa used to be a missionary, and he was a missionary over in Sierra Leone, over in Africa, and he brought back many gourds that were, they had a rain stick that was basically a long gourd that they would turn, and it would make the seeds, it would almost sound like rice inside of the rain sticks, but that was their version. He'd brought back a couple drum gourds where they actually, they had strapped a piece of hide over top of a gourd and hollowed that out. There was no seeds inside, but you could play with that. Super cool stuff. Gourds can be used for so many amazing things, and yeah, I think they're fascinating. All right, so if you guessed 51 seeds, you would be correct. There are 51 seeds here, and honestly, if I were to rate them on like a scale from 1 to 10, at or near a 10, I have not really seen seeds preserved this well in an exceptionally long time. Even the seeds, I will say, even the seeds we pulled out of an 85-year-old shadow box where the giant crimson came from, that came from an antique dealer on Etsy that was selling a shadow box. All were perfectly preserved with the original glue holding the packets together and everything. Even those seeds were in worse condition. There was a lot of seeds that were totally dusty and dead. If I crack one open, I'm not gonna put it in my mouth and crack it open. I'm not that stupid. But I'm just gonna kind of break this open. You can come in close here and check this, see what the seed on the inside looks like. Yeah, it's impressive. I don't see any black. So I would say, at first glance, chance of this working out is actually looking pretty good. Pretty good. So, okay, all right, let's go check out, or let's go get some damp paper towel and a Ziploc baggie. All right, so we're just gonna dampen this first. Now, because we have 51 seeds, I'm gonna be able to take my 10 seeds. Anytime you're doing a germination test, it's always good to take a sample size of at least 10 seeds. That's gonna give you the best chance of there being a good population that's gonna actually germinate. If you grab only 1 or 2 seeds, your chance of grabbing 2 seeds that are inviable are actually really high, right? So if you have, typically for fresh seed that's saved like that year, 80 to 85% is pretty generally accepted as good. Like that's exceptional, right? Like that's kind of the industry standard for what's considered high viable seeds. So if you only grab, that's 2 out of every 10 from brand new fresh seed that won't germinate. So your chance of grabbing 2 seeds, yes, okay, you're still grabbing a 20% chance of having an inviable seed, but now we're talking about seeds that are like 60, at least 60 years old, maybe older. Your chance of grabbing an inviable seed are, by my standard, by my estimation, probably pretty high. So if you start with a higher sample size, the better. And this goes for absolutely anything. Obviously, if you could do 100, that moves the decimal point one more digit further. So if you do 100 seeds, now you can actually have like 97.5% germination, right? Gives you a little more accuracy. If you did 1,000 seeds, it would move the decimal point over even further, and you could have like 97.55% germination rate, which you don't need. There's no need to get that specific here, but I'm just saying you can see how the larger the sample size gets, the more accurate the information gets. If you get 10 seeds and 8 of them germinate, well, you've got 80% germination. Doesn't really tell you a whole lot, right? So this kind of helps you to figure out what you're working with here. Really good to give them some space as well, because a lot of times with old seeds, what will happen is they will mold because they're inviable, not necessarily, because when we open them up to the air, now they're exposed to mold and mildew, and they're inside of a bag and it's damp. That's a great breeding ground for mold and mildew. So even if they're, even if they're next to an inviable seed and one is viable, it can sometimes taint the bunch. So I like to give them, a good ½ inch to an inch of space in between each seed, so that in the case there is an inviable seed that kind of goes rogue and gets all moldy, it's not gonna affect the viability of any other seed, right? So give them that space, that's important. And we're just gonna put these into a warm location. Squash seeds of any kind germinate really well in about 75, 80 degree temperatures. So we're gonna just put them in a nice warm room for as long as it takes. I'm gonna mark them with the date we started. All right, so we're gonna follow up in about a week to see what happens to these gourd seeds. I am really excited because not only is this kind of fun, but it's also a mystery to see what they would grow into. Obviously, this is just the first stage. We're gonna see if they sprout first, then if they do sprout, then we'll grow them out in the summer. Really excited about it, and it's just kind of fun. I don't know, it may not even be something that is even a rare gourd. Who knows? I mean, there's lots of gourds that have been around for hundreds of years, so I have no idea. It could be the most standard gourd in the world, but it's still fun nonetheless to see what we're gonna get. So hopefully you guys are gonna enjoy this journey and this process. And if you wanna follow along and do this at your house, go check out eBay and Etsy. Lots of people selling gourds. Not all of them are gonna be antique, obviously, but still fun nonetheless. So go check them out. They're out there and around. But yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed. And as always, this is Luke from the MIgardener channel, reminding you to like this video if you did enjoy, subscribe if you haven't already, and we'll catch you all on the next episode. As always, grow bigger. Bye.